This is Dave Rogie here this afternoon for the Chelan Sports Blog. Seems kind of strange being a sports blog talking to the new, soon-to-be, high school principal here, Brad Wilson from Chelan High School. And this is Dave Rogie, of course, with Brad. And Mr. Wilson, I guess first, congratulations on your new appointment that's coming up here. You'll begin that officially when?
July 1st.
Okay. So. Are you obviously... this is something that, because you've been the vice principal here, the principal of the junior high, for now a couple of years, obviously administration is a direction that you want for your career and was headed in that direction. So we're very thrilled that you're going to be able to continue that. Well, let's take a minute and get to know Brad Wilson. I think our people who look at the blog, people maybe who see you in the halls and say, hi, Mr. Wilson, and so on, but don't necessarily know who Brad Wilson is. So tell us a little bit about Brad.
Well, I guess working from the current back to the past is just finishing my third year here as the Chelan Middle School principal and enjoyed it immensely. Really tough decision to take on the high school role because I've enjoyed the middle school role so much, and all the students and the parents and the teachers have been just outstanding to work with. Really have enjoyed that. Prior to coming here in the 2013-14 school year, I was the principal at Lake Roosevelt High School for 2.5 years, and I believe I was in that school district for 11 years, the Grand Coulee Dam School District over in Coulee Dam. Really had a positive experience there. That was my first job full-time in education. Enjoyed it, but really felt the Chelan Middle School job when it came open was where I was meant to be. Too good to not try to pursue. That was mainly based on everybody I'd ever interacted with in Chelan, both personally and professionally. I really enjoyed and thought it was a high quality school system and a great place to live and raise a family. Married to my wife Jenny for almost 16 years. Later this month will be our anniversary. We have 2 children. Connor is 14 and Isaac is getting ready to turn 11, which is hard for me to believe. Prior to going to Lake Roosevelt in Grand Coulee Dam, I was in graduate school at the University of Arizona in Tucson and spent 5 years at Washington State University, go Cougs. Prior to that, getting my degree initially in social studies education with a minor in English and then a master's in teaching and teacher education. Then worked on my principal credential through Washington State University. Also, while I was in college, I served as an equipment manager for the Cougars and then was in charge of the University of Arizona's student managers while I was there. So that was a big part of my life for 7 years is working in athletic equipment while I was in college. Grew up in Newport, Washington. All my schooling was there, born and raised, which is about an hour north of Spokane, similar to Chelan, and beautiful area, lots of wilderness and everything. Really enjoyed that. 2 great parents and a sister, and just always enjoyed my educational experience and made me want to go into it myself.
So when you mentioned that I think said social studies, is that right, Brad?
Correct.
So when you were working with the social studies, you knew at some point you were going to shift over and start working towards a degree in education then? And
yeah, it was a social studies degree with a teaching certificate at the same time, and the English minor as well.
Okay. So it's kind of ironic you talk about Lake Roosevelt and your experiences in meeting people professionally, and of course that's where you and I first got connected.
Yes.
Was it's amazing how you just hit it off with people, and there was something about you guys. You came here, I think, for a Christmas, maybe even was there, but I think it was a Christmas tournament you guys came up to when you and I really got kind of acquainted, and you had some pretty special kids on your basketball team. And how many years were you coaching there at Lake Roosevelt?
I was the basketball coach there for 10 years.
And when you first came here in a principalship, did you see or were you considering any kind of an opportunity that would, in terms of coaching, is that something, or is that just something that you decided you'd had your time now was to move on in your career?
Yeah, I transitioned away from that. I still really enjoy being involved with youth sports at the more elementary level, AAU basketball. Been involved with youth football for the last 9 years, youth baseball, and once you go into administration, it's impossible to be a very successful administrator and a very successful coach both at the same time, and do the job well and give it the service that each of them deserve, I feel. So it's not really an option, and I'm totally comfortable with that. Like I said, I get just as much joy out of the coaching side of things with the younger kids, or even more so sometimes. You lose a ball game, you don't feel like you let the whole town down when you're working with fifth and sixth graders.
Yeah,
So
I suppose that's true, and it certainly can feel that way in high school sometimes, can it? I'm sure you guys had some very successful years at Lake Roosevelt, and I can only imagine. Years ago, I was an assistant basketball coach and JV coach at Thorpe High School, and with an old friend of mine, Jim Stone, and it's actually kind of a roundabout way that I became acquainted with Joe Harris through my friendship with Jimmy, and when he was at Bridgeport. But anyway, so obviously there was an attraction to the Chelan area. You've now been here for about 3 years. What do you think?
I really enjoy it. It's really clear that the school and education is important to the community, where I think we all feel really supported at the school district by our community, so I really enjoy that. Love living by the lake. Kids love to go swimming, those type of things. So lots of opportunities, both educationally and extracurricular wise for kids is what I really, really enjoy. We're still a small town, which I love, and I love that feel and the sense of community, but we're big enough where we can offer some really great things for our kids as far as a variety of opportunities, both in season and out of season. So enjoy, and the classes at the high school level that are available for a school our size, I'm just in love with and want to keep building on. The college and the high school opportunities, the career and technical education opportunities, and just great opportunities for a school that I think is just the perfect size.
You mentioned that you were struggling a bit when you made the decision to take on this new role because of your connection, and obviously you're extremely well liked by everyone. I mean, it's amazing the difference that you've seen over a 3-year period with your involvement from prior years, and that's not to be critical of anyone, only that you bring a style of your own. And I want to talk about that in just a moment. But tell us a little bit more about that passion of the junior high and the challenge. And at what point did you say, if this is what I got to do?
Boy, it was so tough. I just felt like the community and the people at Lake Roosevelt had been, very dear to my heart and treated me outstanding. I had no bitterness there, but it was just an opportunity to get to a place that was a little bit bigger, not tremendously bigger, but just opportunity-wise, both professionally and personally for our family, with some more offerings. And I think really sometimes you got to not let yourself be comfortable. Some mentors that I've had have really always emphasized that. And this was a challenge. I mean, it's easy to stay where everything feels good, it's rolling right along, and you're well liked, you feel like you're making progress. But I'd been there 11 years, and I just felt it was time for a challenge and a chance to work with some really great people professionally that I'd gotten to know a little bit over the years, and just ready to take on the new challenge. Really similar to my feel about moving from the middle school to the high school. Love the people, love the relationships, just feel so supported and connected in everything we're doing. But that challenge comes along. I guess I've really always just been willing to take on the challenge. When I came from the University of Arizona back to Washington, I turned down a full-time job in the University of Arizona to pursue a teaching opening in Washington without really having one locked up yet, but it just seemed like it was the challenge to take on at that time. So that's what led to that decision.
And your move now to the new principal's position, you mentioned something a little bit about kind of the toughness of working with the junior high and those relationships you've developed, and now moving into the high school. Was that much of a struggle for you to make that decision, or was that just the natural step for you in terms of your plans and your career?
No, it was a struggle. Just anytime you feel like you never want to let anybody down, or at least I don't. And not that, I think Mrs. Nelson will come in and be an outstanding leader, like 10 times better than myself. I mean, it's not that nobody else is capable of leading it, but just when people have treated you so well and you have that real sense of community, I think we've been able to develop in the middle school, both with the kids, the teachers, parents. I feel a connection to all three of those groups and really supported with all three. So you just don't want to let those people feel like you're letting them down or bailing on them. But like I said, it comes down to it. You see a challenge, and you just feel in your heart that it's time to go take that challenge on.
Everybody brings something unique to a position like this. Mr. DePauli obviously brought on some special things, and he's I'm sure someone who you would look to as having been perhaps maybe a little bit of a mentor for you in your role here as the and working collectively. What do you see? What is that strength that Brad Wilson says? I think I can add this to our program, and that is in no way to be critical or that we need something, but everybody has that piece that they feel that is a strength for them that they feel will just help be that much better.
Yeah, you're certainly right about nothing critical to say, because I have tremendous respect for Mr. DePauli. I mean, that was one of the draws of coming here is a chance to work with him. I'm sure you know, and everybody knows how well respected he is, not just regionally but statewide. So, outstanding mentor, and just having the chance to work closely with him really, I feel, has been a big benefit. And so, but I think the strength, and I don't know how it'll play out at the high school yet, is I'm a good listener, and I think it's important to listen and learn about anything that's new to you, even though I've been right next door, before you start pushing as a leader in any certain direction, because it really doesn't matter what Brad Wilson wants to push. It's about what the school needs, what the kids need is what the bottom line is. So I'm really trying to figure out ways where I can learn and listen in that area as much as possible to make sure that we're addressing what's going to be best for the kids, and that we can always do more. We're always trying to do more. That's what I really appreciate about Chelan. I don't think anybody's just sitting here on our laurels being comfortable. We're trying to do more for kids and push it forward for all kids, not just the high achievers or the low, but everybody. So I think the direction we go is going to be based on what I'm able to listen and learn about and make decisions on that way. And when it comes down to it, as the leader, you do have to make some decisions, and I'm willing to do that. But I think you have to do that with being well educated about the direction that you're going and what the challenges will be and the opportunities before you jump that way. So that's my plan coming in. No drastic wholesale changes that I can see right off the bat. I need to go out there and earn the kids' respect and earn the teachers' respect and the parents, and start moving us along that way.
Hey, will you be moving over to the other office?
Yes, I will be. I think it's important to be over by that hallway. I like to try to get up and down the hallways as much as possible, and during passing periods, I think that's a great chance to connect with kids. Just checking in, saying hi. They know you're out there. They know you're interested. You're not just a guy sitting in the office there that you have to go see if you make a mistake. We definitely don't want that to be the feel about a principal at all.
I think that's one of the unique things about everybody that's in a leadership role here in this school, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a principal, whatever the case may be, is everybody is very conscious about making sure they're plugged in with the kids. You don't, as you pointed out, you don't see people sitting around in their offices. You guys have these big windows where you could very easily sit here and look out and watch the traffic and hear the noise because you're close to the hallways but you guys are always out there. I mean, I can tell you there have been many times I've come to talk to you about something as a substitute or whatever, and where's Mr. Wilson? He's not in his office, or the same thing with Mr. DePauli and with Rob and all of the people in leadership capacity here. So I think that is certainly a continuation of your strength will be added, just to perhaps the approach a little different, but the fact that you guys make that effort to make sure you're plugged in with the kids is a very important thing. If there's one thing that you, besides the fact that you are a good listener, if there was one thing that you could make sure all the parents knew going into the high school role as Brad Wilson, the principal, what would that one thing be about Brad that he thinks would be important for them to know?
I really believe our job in education is to care for and try to ensure success for all kids. So sometimes what's good for some, though, isn't the best route for others. So sometimes we make decisions on trying to address everybody's needs, and somebody says, well, that doesn't help me, and it might not, but we're going to try make sure that we're figuring out ways where all our kids are successful. Because somebody mentioned one time, one of my mentors, that you can't look a parent in the eye and say, well, your kid was the 1%, they didn't get it done, but that's okay because the other 99 did. I mean, generally 99% success rate's very, very good, but not if you're that 1% or you're that one kid or you're that one parent. So we really got to just be creative and vigilant and push and push and push to try to make sure all our students are successful. And sometimes that you might think that's easy. Well, good, then you're just doing what's best for everybody, but you have to make decisions that maybe don't help one group but help others, because we want our most high achieving kid to get pushed and achieve even higher too. So you got to take care of everybody across the spectrum, to make sure that they're getting what they need out of their education.
This job obviously is a very stressful job. Principal, whether it's junior high, high school, grade school, a lot of stress. How does Brad relax? What kinds of things does Brad Wilson do to kind of refill the bucket, as it were?
Sure, I mentioned coaching youth sports. Really enjoy that. That's a chance to get out there on the football field with some 3rd and 4th graders, or the court, and just spend 2 hours straight with them, giving them lots of energy and just seeing massive amounts of improvement. So that's a really good release, and just seeing the joy they get out of that. I like to take walks, spend time with my wife or my family, and just getting out and about, walking different places in the area, seeing different things. I like to travel, small trips usually. A lot of times, due to the kids' activities, they're tied in with some other type of activity, but just going different places as a family. It is a stressful job. It also could be, an all-encompassing, time-consuming job. So I try to spend most of my non-work time is associated doing things with our family. I'm not into golf or some of those big pieces.
One of the last things, and then I'll let you go because I know you're busy, and I appreciate you giving me this 15 minutes or
No
so.
problem.
But I've lost focus here a second.
okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But the one thing that I think every parent or teacher or whoever within the system always asks is, okay, well, he's here now. How long is he going to be here?
Sure.
Is this something that you see? You've mentioned the community. You've mentioned you kind of had a desire to be here at times. You thought, gee, if an opportunity came along, it's just something you see. You see Chelan as being a long-term commitment for Brad Wilson and family, or is it kind of okay? We'll see what comes along next.
I'd say long-term. I despise moving, in a big way. So. If I live in Chelan the rest of my life, we'd be very, very happy with that. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that I'll still be here when I'm 60 years old. But no plans whatsoever to look to move to another district. I would not have pursued a high school position in anywhere else other than when this opportunity came up. So that's where I'm at right now. You're always furthering your education and trying to learn, but that's just with motivation of self-improvement.
Sure.
No goals to move on. Like I said, I think this is the perfect size for myself and our family. Really believe in that. Both my wife's family lives in Airway Heights, Washington. My parents still live in Newport. We see each other frequently. It's within reasonable traveling distance, but far enough away where you have your space and your own too. So it's I love the weather. I've no desire to live on the west side, where it rains any more than it does here. Can tolerate the winters, but really love the climate too in north central Washington. Always have.
Well, Mr. Wilson, you have been very accommodating and very kind to give us this much time, but I know you have other things on your agenda for today, so I'm going to thank you. Again, congratulate you. Great accolades. I can tell you that you come into this job with a ton of support, because everybody here thinks it's great that you are going to be the new principal in the high school, and as well as knowing that you're still connected to the school itself. I know that Mr. DePauli would not have given you, or the school district would not have given you that opportunity if he didn't feel good about it, and you're right, he's a tremendous individual, but as is Brad Wilson. I look forward to working with you in the future as we in this video business, as it's slowly becoming for me, enjoy interacting with you and with the other members of the staff. And so we just wish you the very best. Obviously, if there's ever anything that I can do to enhance your situation or help you in any way, don't ever hesitate to call. I live in this community. I don't ever intend to leave this community. My kids have been raised here. My older kids were raised here, and this is a great place to be. And great places need great people. So welcome aboard, and congratulations one more time. So
thanks, Dave. I think definitely a great place to be, and go Goats.
Go Goats. This has been Dave Rogie here with the new principal of the high school, Mr. Brad Wilson, and he takes over July 1st. Folks, be sure to stop in and see him. He's very approachable and wants to hear what you have to say. So.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Dave.